Hey everybody, welcome to Moscow Report, and this video was supposed to be a review, but instead it is such a great showing from the AK versus AR competition created by the Kalashnikov Corporation that I'm going to do a real-time translation, and you tell me what you think in the comments. AK versus the AR in the iced conditions. The AR, of course, here is represented by about 6 or 7 rifles, and it's going head-to-head versus the AK200, the latest AK variant. And George Gubin here is a specialist from the Kalashnikov Corporation, and he basically says that we never said that the AR system fails in sub-zero temperatures, but it does have some issues, especially if you're deploying in a airborne landing or a naval landing, using it in the mountains or wherever ice can build up on the weapon. And this is the main testing purpose that is of this video. The test process is pretty straightforward. They're going to basically take a few shots, then they're going to lock in the magazine, throw on the safety, pour some cold water, and then let the weapon into the snow and then freeze it on the table. Weapons which will be tested today will be the AK200 using the 545 by 39. HK416 556 short action, SIG 551 using 556 ammunition as well. One more HK416, also short action, 556 Nato, and I'm going to tell you why there's 2 of them. Bushmaster 556 Nato, VR 556 Nato, also short action, custom 556 AR, in past experiment, the weapons were in a rain chamber for 10 minutes, but at this location we don't have this capability, so we're going to replicate rain by pouring water on it. Experts were saying that in some cases the weapon should have been lubricated, in other cases it shouldn't have been lubricated. For that reason we have the 2 HK416s. One will be delubricated, the other one will be excessively lubricated. Temperature of the air is -6 degrees Celsius. A little bit of a fail there. We're going to try to fire from the AK first, and then we're going to dump some water on it. AK200. Chamber is empty, magazine's attached, safety's on. Dump some water on. Toss it in the snow. .416 degreased version. To make sure we can put on the safety, we lock it, close the ejection port. A lot of comments in the last video about the ejection port being open, dumping water on. SIG 551. Safety's on. Well-oiled 416.
Взводе, предохранитель. Магазин, шторка.
Magazine loaded. Ejection port closed. Adding the water.
Bushmaster.
Bushmaster.
Завел, предохранитель.
Locked safety and magazine.
Магазин, шторка. Вар.
Firing the VAR.
Завел, предохранитель.
Safety's on.
Магазин.
Magazine's in place.
Нет шторки.
Does not have an ejection port.
И последнее.
Last but not least, custom sports.
Взводим.
Locked. Safety's up.
Магазин присоединен.
Magazine's attached.
Здесь тоже
Does not also have the ejection port.
помимо того, что нет шторки,
And it's also a skeleton design, which exposes a number of elements within the rifle.
это скелетон. То есть части винтовки имеют прорези, через которые видно механизм.
Unfortunately, the mechanism is exposed, including the firing mechanism, so we're going to see if this freezes up the firing mechanism.
Оставим их здесь.
We're going to leave it here
Посмотрим, что будет, когда
and see what happens after about an hour or a little bit less, and see what happens when they freeze. Alright, so while you're watching this time lapse of the guns freezing, make sure that you like this video, make sure you drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, and maybe I'll get a little bit more active with more videos if I get a little bit more love from everybody. Alright, well, what do you think? AK versus the AR, how is this video going to turn out? Well, frozen rifles.
прошел час времени.
1 hour has passed. It's minus 6 degrees.
Попробуем, проверим.
Let's test these rifles out. I've got a dentistry pick
Очищу канал справа,
to clean out the
подтягиваю.
muzzle brake to make sure that there is no detonation within the barrel.
АК-200.
AK-200.
Предохранитель.
Safety test. It's working.
Затвор.
There you go. Locked, but took some effort to get it past the frozen point. And the rifle's firing.
После того, как вручную помогли, всё равно
After manual assistance, the magazine can be detached, reattached. And safety's working as well. SIG 551.
Предохранитель перевелся.
Safety is working with some effort. The bolt seems to be a little stuck there.
Магазин отсоединяется.
Magazine can be detached and reattached.
Попробуем полить теплой водой.
Let's pour some warm water on it.
Возможно, замерз в районе газовой камеры.
Possibly froze around the gas chamber area. Cocked, but not firing.
Не закрылся.
Feeding problem.
Заработал только после
Only started working after we added some warm water to it.
Бушмастер.
I'm going with the Bushmaster next. Charging handle is frozen.
Замерз, рукоятка не двигается.
Magazine release is also frozen.
Кнопка сброса не работает. Предохранитель.
Safety worked, but required some effort.
Пробуем поливать.
Let's try pouring some water into it.
После того, как прогрели,
After warming it up,
полностью работает.
the rifle is fully functional.
Но сама по себе винтовка.
But by itself, it did freeze.
Ладно.
Switching over to the VAR.
Не двигается.
Charging handles frozen.
Предохранитель
Safety
переключил с усилием.
with effort. Magazine release
Магазин
fully
не
frozen.
отстегивается.
Let's clean out the muzzle brake.
Пробуем теплую воду.
Add some warm water to it.
Выстрела нет.
Not firing.
Патроны в магазине замерзли.
Ammunition inside the magazine has frozen itself and it's not feeding.
Не закрытие.
Feeding issue. There you go, it's fed.
Теперь работает.
Now it's functional.
Спортивный кастом.
Sports custom.
Почистим дульник.
Clean the muzzle brake.
Замерзла.
Frozen.
Здесь вообще кусок льда.
Big chunk of ice on that side.
Предохранитель крутится.
Safety is working though.
Кнопка сброса не работает.
The magazine release button is not working.
Не закрылась. Двойная подача.
Dual feed problem.
Типичная для AR-системы двойная подача.
Typical problem with the AR system where it does a dual feed.
Очень тяжело устранимая проблема.
Very hard to remediate problem. It's clear.
Здесь нет патронов больше. Возьму другой магазин.
Out of ammo in this magazine. Let's try a different magazine.
Работает.
Firing.
Не закрыл.
Didn't feed.
Закрыл.
Failed to feed.
Не закрыл.
Failed to feed.
Закрыл.
Closed.
Спортивная работает тоже только после прогрева.
Sports rifle is also working only after warming it up.
Самое главное. Два
And most
HK416.
important, two
Этот
HK416s.
мы обезжирили.
This one we de-oiled. Delubricated is probably the better term.
Помогло ли ему это?
Did this help the rifle?
Ну, он двигается.
Well,
Торка не хочет.
charging handle is working. The port is having some difficulty opening
Не хочет закрываться.
and doesn't want to close.
Кнопка замерзла.
Magazine release is frozen.
Предохранитель крутится с усилием.
Safety is working, but a little effort is needed.
Магазин не отстегивается.
Magazine just won't detach. Warm water.
Вроде подал.
Looks like we've had a successful feed.
Стрела нет.
Maybe not.
Патроны замерзли в
Oh,
магазине.
ammunition is frozen once again
Они не встают
in the magazine.
на рампу подачи, а если магазин потрясти, просто начинает выпадать. Возможно,
If we shake the magazine, the ammo just starts falling out.
возьмем другой магазин.
Let's switch to a different magazine.
Не закрыл.
Didn't lock.
Не закрыл.
Didn't lock again.
Не запирает затвор. Выстрела нет.
Won't lock the
Расширенный
delubricated 416 is failing to feed and failing to lock in the round.
сильно смазаны.
And now we got the well-oiled 416.
Пробуем.
Going to test it out to feed the
Рукоятка
round into it.
остается. Отошла до конца.
Charging handle moved all the way back.
Шторку не буду открывать.
We're going to leave the port as is. Let's see what happens.
Затвор пытается вытолкнуть патрон из
It's
магазина.
trying to load the ammunition from the magazine, but it's failing.
Не работает.
Not working.
Вода.
Warm water.
Предохранитель с усилием. Кнопка
Safety takes some
заработала.
effort.
Патроны замерзли.
Ammunition once again is frozen inside the magazine.
Не работает.
Need another mag.
Попробуем. Вот этот.
Let's try this one.
Не закрыл. Не закрыл.
Locking problem.
Закрыл.
Locked.
Прогрелся и заработал.
After it warmed up, it started working.
Как видите,
As you can see, amongst all these rifles, only the AK performed properly without additional support during these tests. The tests were here to show that the AR system has a problem with ice buildup over a prolonged amount of time of 1 hour. The tests were not too scientific, but they were practical. In case of the SIG, it was able to detach the magazine, but all other rifles could not detach the magazine. Only the safety was able to work on them. And none of the AR platform rifles were able to load around because of freezing of the charging handle or the magazine freezing with the ammunition inside of it. Alright, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, share. Let me know in the comments what you think about the AK versus AR performance. I try to do a real-time translation just to make sure I can share this content with you. Hopefully you like it, and if you do, let me know in the comments, and I will try to make some more.